How you doing? It's Mick Tully, and it's the Mick Tully Show for Women Television, and with the one and only Mr. Owen King, and it's been a pretty successful weekend for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been really good.
It's good to see you, man.
You too.
So, we're here, and it's the World Martial Combat Federation Championships, World Championships, right? So, how many people did you have fight?
9.
How many medaling?
I don't even know. Well, you've already met Chloe.
Chloe.
Don't give her. But
yeah, she brought 4 in, right?
4 golds. Molly, I think Molly had 2 golds. Marcus got a gold. Connor got golds. Asher got 2 golds. Oh my God. Finley got a gold, and Nathan got 2 golds as well.
Wow, so pretty successful,
yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself. When did you start in martial arts?
Long time ago, 1986 I started.
86,
yeah,
who was that with?
Yeah. It was with Lloyd and Clayton Byfield. It was Taekwondo.
Right, okay. And what got you into martial arts?
Watching Kung Fu movies.
Obviously.
Because everyone wanted to do the fancy kicks. I think the first film I saw was something like Snake and the Monkey Shadow, and then I saw Drunken Master, and I was like, oh wow, and I didn't know you could go anywhere to learn it. And then as I left school, got a bit older, I found, hey, you can learn to kick like that, I didn't know that, so yeah.
And that was it. And this was in Nottingham, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, man. What was your first, so what took you to where you are, like where you are now? 'Cause you know, it's...
Well, I've done lots of different styles. I started with Taekwondo, but then the school closed down. So I did Lao Kung Fu for about 5 years. In between that, I did a bit of boxing with a friend, Ted Kofi. He was really well known. He used to be IBO World Cruiserweight boxing champion. Did some Aikido. With the Lao Kung Fu, we didn't really do that many tournaments. Weren't people to really spar with that much.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine said he trained with Master Vic Mark. He said, oh, come down and spar with our guys, because he's got loads of guys. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'll go down and start sparring with them. And then slowly, surely made the transition over there. He might not like this, but he had some decent fighters. But then when I went along and my brother came along, because we started to beat them, slowly but surely they all started to drop off. Yeah, but we continued. So.
But a lot of people don't like it. Yeah, everyone's great. Everyone's there for the birthday cake. You see, this is the thing. Yeah. And as soon as they start taking a bit of a hiding, they can't handle it anymore. They can't handle it. So you mentioned Lao Ga. Lao Ga used to be really well known for competing.
That was the main style to be in Lao Ga Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Karate was known as being stiff and rigid, and Lao Ga was fluent and
very open.
Fluid.
Yeah. So when you were with Lao Ga, did you compete?
We did a few tournaments. My instructor wasn't really into the competition side, and he always used to sort of dangle the carrot, say, when you get to this level, you'll go and train in Birmingham with the big guys. And
yeah.
The thing for me was, I remember we'd spar for 15 minutes, and then we wouldn't spar for 2 or 3 weeks. Then he'd say, we're sparring next week, and it was like 6 weeks with no sparring. And once I found out you could spar, I really wanted to spar and compete all the time, and he never did it enough. And as much as I wanted to stay there, for me, I wanted to compete.
Yeah.
And then obviously Vic's place gave me that. So.
That was it. Yeah. So once you started training at Vic's, what tournament circuits were you on? Was the FSK still around at that time?
Yeah. I started on the Lowell circuits. I started on the Peterborough Series and the EMAs.
Yeah, wow, man.
Started winning, dominating them, and then stepped up and then started doing WKAs and WAKOs and stuff, and then just obviously just.
So what would you say? What was your hardest fight in WAKO?
My hardest fight in WAKO? I don't know, I've had a few. I don't compete anymore, but the last tournament I did was 2009 in the WAKO Worlds, and I fought this guy called Xavi Moya Garcia, and I thought, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. So as you do, the night before I looked him up. The video came up on YouTube. Xavi Moya is the best. World full contact kickboxing champion, 36 fights, 36 wins, no losses, and I was like, I'm fighting him.
Wow.
And I tried to kick, he kept trying to sweep me, then he hit me with an uppercut to my midsection. I was like, oh. But I always try and keep a poker face.
Yeah.
So I just boxed him. And I beat him boxing wise. I was like, oh,
yeah, because I teach at Dev Barrett's in Coventry, and Dev's obviously everything you would expect. As I would say, what you expect a modern master to be. Yeah. He's so polite, he's so well spoken, and he's such a badass that he's the only guy that when I teach at his place, I don't curse. Just literally out of respect for him. Yeah. And he's always said to me, he goes, and I know you swear, Mick, and I went, not in your house, I don't. Not in your house. Yeah. And he's he has these meetings where it's like, guys turn up like you know, like Neville Ray turns up, walks through the door, and you're like, you haven't aged since you were selling Geeko pads in '86, because he hasn't aged at all. So what else did you compete in?
Mainly just the kickboxing, points fighting, continuous. I've had 1 or 2 full contact fights. Mainly the full contact points, and just 1 full contact fight, and then I just enjoy what I do. This.
Yeah, the point fighting's making a resurgence, because if you go on Facebook, you'll see, you know, guys like, you know, Alfie Lewis's and Marcus is coming. He's come back in, and then, you know, they're starting to get that buzz. I don't think you'll ever get. Well, it'd be great if it did. You know, getting that buzz back that had it in the late '80s, early '90s, where like everybody was a household name. You know, Peter O'Para was coming in. And then they all had crazy names like the Overdog. You know, that was, and Alvin Mighty would come in. And these were like unbelievable martial artists.
And can I just say something, like, because a lot of people that don't know about points slate points fighting. And my thing is, if you get into an altercation or a street fight with someone, do you want to stand there and go, oh, come on then, let me put my gloves up, let me just stand and walk around like this? Or do you want to land 1 or 2 shots and get the fight over and done with quick and get away? That's the main aim of the game. People have come to my school, I'm a full contact fighter, they plod, and I'm not saying all full contact fighters like that, because I know a lot of them aren't now, and it's changing a lot. But most of them that have come to my school, they plod and they're like, I'm going to throw bombs, but they can't even lay a finger on you, they can't catch you, they can't touch you. And to be fair, you've got people like Michael Page out there that's proving it, and now all of a sudden people are like, oh wow. Fighter
training, that's actually brought me right into it. Again, if you don't mind, I'm going to just add to that. I was terrible at point fighting, I'll tell you right now, because I'm the guy that I used to be able to. I'd stand and bang a little bit and go. But I always wanted to be the guy that was fast off the mark. And I remember when we first started doing the WAKO stuff, and literally I had an Arakan, Gakuzuki, and lead round kick. And it wasn't that good. And then I started training with my BJJ professor, Neil Simpkin, and me and him started sparring. And he started everything that he did. He started off with that same intensity that he did in the point fighting. And you were like, okay. But then he'd dig in and then start beating the crap out of you. And I was thinking, well, I thought you guys started running around, putting your hands in the air and stuff. And he was like, no. And I think that's the one thing that people don't understand. If the point fighting, and it is first off the mark, boom, I see where people say, yeah, okay. But I also see the benefit of being able to bang and just run out. But then when you see the continuous and semi-continuous, I remember the first ever continuous clicker fight I ever had, and I was like, I never thought 2 minutes could last this long. And I was punished beyond belief. It was unreal. You mentioned Michael, because I know Michael's part of what your...
Of course, yeah, it's part of fighter training.
Yeah, and it must be, because that guy's like a video game.
Yeah, of course. Everything he does is...
Yeah, how long have you known Michael?
Oh my God. Yes, probably, must be about 20 years.
Yeah,
20 years.
Well, this is the thing, it's like, I remember it, Curtis was a terror. Curtis, Curtis Page, really? You know what I mean? No, you won't want to go. But Michael's got it, and it's, again, you know what you said earlier when you said about Laugar being fluid, and then you look at Michael, and Michael's the next evolution of that again.
Of course, yes.
And the UFC are going to come calling soon, and I don't think there's anyone in that weight category right now, anywhere. You know, not the way that he fights. You know, when people think that Conor McGregor is unorthodox, and then you see some of the stuff that Michael tries, and I'm not saying tries to pull off. He does stuff and you're like, that's not going to work. And then you see some guy eating the knee and you're like, how did he do that? Did you always have an idea he was destined for greatness? Have you stuck with it?
Honest opinion, yes.
Really?
I knew Michael, and we spoke about it before he even had his first fight. And I said, Michael, you could be, don't run before you can walk. Wherever you go to, don't let them make you run before you can walk. You could be the next Anderson Silva. And he went, who's Anderson Silva? And I'm like, you don't know, you're doing MMA, you don't know who Anderson Silva is.
Yeah, but he wouldn't care. All he wanted to do was train, right?
He didn't even understand back then he knew how good he could be, because he's always got self-confidence, but I'm comparing him to someone before he's even had a fight.
Yeah.
And he was like, who is this guy? Wow. But now, even Anderson Silva's complimented him, everyone knows who Michael Page is now.
Well, you see, it was funny, because we covered the Bellator press conference, and we couldn't get near him. And it was bizarre, because we were looking for, and Kimbo Silas, God rest his soul, he was supposed to be there, he didn't turn up. And we could get James Thompson, we got Scott Coker, we got Koscheck, got Daly, and I was like, me personally, I wanted Linton and I wanted Michael, because I was like, these are two guys that are gonna go places. And it was really cool because they went through the whole panel as they do, and everyone did their bit, and then it was like to Michael, well, what do you want to do? Michael said, I just want to build up my brand. And I remember thinking to myself, this guy is going to be like Michael Jordan. If he does everything right, he's going to be the Michael Jordan of MMA, because he's got it. He's got unbelievable.
For me, I've said to a few of my guys, I haven't actually said this to Michael yet, because obviously you don't want to throw spanny works, jinx things, but at the moment, Conor McGregor is the biggest thing in MMA, without a doubt. But Michael is the new one that's going to be coming through. And everything goes well, as big as Conor is now, as you know, there's more money. The more we go through time and the internet and everything else, everything gets bigger and bigger, and you get more and more money and stuff. But Michael has the potential, for me, to be bigger than what Conor McGregor is now. Yeah,
well, you know, it's funny you said that, because Michael Page has that bit where it's like, if you weren't able to do what you do and deliver, this would be arrogance.
Yes.
What you're doing right now is just supreme confidence. Yeah. And then you look at Conor, and trust me, I'm an Irishman, and I look at Conor and I'm like, Conor, you're starting to embarrass me, dude. Because his fight yesterday, wonderful. Unbelievable. But they're being gracious in victory, and he ain't. And what he's doing is he's selling fights, but he's appealing to the wrong sort of people for martial arts, in my opinion. And that's, I'm a cliched guy when it comes to stuff like that.
But does he come from a traditional background? That's the thing, because a lot of people that don't come from traditional backgrounds, they don't understand.
Yeah, but you see, this is again, if you look at his coach, John Kavanagh is one of the most disciplined, one of the most lovely guys you could wish to meet. So I've heard lots of, I've got a couple of friends of mine who know Conor really well, and they went, that's a caricature. But the only problem is, the more success you get, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, always said, The Rock is me turned up to 11. Yeah. And then he said, I started to believe it.
But at the same time, if Conor wasn't Conor the way he is, MMA would still be basically run by Dana White, the UFC and everyone, which is at the moment, but they would still dictate what you do, when you do it, how much you get, and he's changed everything.
Well, this is the one thing, as he said, all you guys who are talking trash about me, the only reason you guys are making money is because, he goes, when the Reebok deal came in, none of you had any money. And then I turned around to Dana, and Dana realised, that's the one thing I did like about Conor, because what he did was he pulled the old David Beckham power play, where it didn't work for David Beckham in Man U because he thought he was bigger than Man U. But yeah, he is. So what's the future hold for you?
Just training my fighters. I'm putting quite a lot of time and effort into Chloe. At the moment, she's my main prodigy. I have another one, Marcus, who's coming up as well. He's a little bit younger. I have a few others at the gym, but at the moment, Chloe is the one that's going to be bigger than Ronda.
But she kicked serious ass today. And again, when I interviewed her, I'm a big fan of seeing just individuals grow as people. And when you've got the talent to back up the belief, then it isn't arrogance, it's just confidence. Yeah. And that's the one thing that most martial artists don't like. So I want you to have confidence, but I don't want you to have too much confidence. Yeah. And that's the killer. It's getting that perfect balance.
And I'm going to say, I've just said that one day Chloe has potential to be as big as or bigger than Ronda. People might think, shut up, what do you know? I mean, I was the striking coach for Team Roughhouse for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Judo, Jimmy Wallhead, Andre Winner, Matt Hallam, quite a few of those guys. I've been to Poland, cornered in KSW, Cage Warriors, went to America, cornered there. I know a lot of top level MMA guys out there now, and I know the work ethic that's needed, and Chloe has that correct mindset and work ethic. So I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not just going, oh yeah, Chloe's great, she's going to be this, she's going to be that. I'm just saying it from what I've seen and experienced, being out there with UFC level fighters, like Jim's in the UFC now, Dre was in the UFC, obviously training and fighting on the team with Michael for so many years. I know what potential looks like, and she has a good work ethic and massive potential.
It's funny you said that, because my dear friend Nathan Leverton, same situation. It's like Nathan said, I know guys who are I mean, they could be, but they haven't got the work ethic.
Yeah,
And he said that about Dan. He used to say about Dan Hardy, he said, Jimmy, Dan, Dan doesn't want to mess with Jimmy, but what he'll do is he'll work more, and then that's how Jimmy, again, he's got himself into the UFC now. And the real shame with Jimmy is the Jimmy that you see fighting on the UFC isn't the Jimmy that we all know, because it's getting him to pull that trigger.
Yes.
And that first time he pulls that trigger, I swear to God, everyone's going to go, what? Yeah. Because I've seen him kill people in the gym, and then you go, and it can't be the big, because that guy's got confidence.
I've seen him with professional light heavyweight fighters, 205ers, or maybe even bordering light heavyweight fighters, and suplexing them and just destroying them. I've been there, literally seen it. I know how good he is. Yeah. But it's getting that confidence, that belief out of him. But saying that, I think London Shoot Fighters are doing a really good job with him. They have got a lot of confidence out in him. Yeah.
Again, it's when I spoke to Chloe about this, and I commented on having loyalty to your coach. When your coach has got it, you've got it. But this is the one thing that MMA guys don't understand. If it isn't working for them, they just go to another coach. They don't realise that it's not you, it's me. They don't want to get that. We'll change it. But I tell you what, I wish you all the best for the future, and I want to see you cornering Chloe.
I will be.
Okay,
I'll be there.
That's it. In Vegas, kicking ass, and hopefully, if you need anyone to cover. Come on.
I'll say you guys, don't forget, check out fightingtraining.com.
And do you want to give a shout out to the gym?
Yeah, Nottingham School of Black Belts. If you want to come down, have a training session, numbers online, you know where we are, just come and give us a bell.
The man himself, Owen King. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.